Anybody hungry this morning? I did not eat anything this morning, and I'm a bit hungry. I am a bit hungry. I have to be honest with you, right? But because I am hungry, sometimes you like people to experience what you experience. Because I'm hungry, I want you to be hungry also. So we would stay here until all of us are hungry. Right? We shall stay here until all of us are hungry. The word that I want to share with you this morning is something I have been begging God for a few months now. It's something that when I was asked to minister, sometimes you differentiate if a word is just for you or if it's for the people. And you do not want to give the people something that is not for them. You want to hear exactly what the Lord is saying to the people. But I really and truly felt led to share what has been taking place with me, or what I'm pushing towards, that it will happen with you. So let's turn our Bibles to Luke chapter 6 verses 21. Let's read a few verses of scripture and then we shall continue. If it is possible that we get the New King James Version, I would appreciate that. The New King James Version. It reads, "Blessed are you who hunger now, for you shall be filled." This is what the New King James Version said. But we go down to verse 25, and verse 25 said, "Woe to you who are full, for you shall hunger." It said first, blessed are you who hunger now, for you shall be filled. But in verse 25, woe to you who are full, for you shall hunger. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 16, reading from the New King James Version. Chapter 16, verse 25 and 26. And let me read from this particular version. I just love the way this version has it. It said, "There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. The person who labors for himself, for his hungry mouth drive him on." The person who labors for himself, for his hungry mouth drives him on. As we make reflection in our lives, sometimes, to be honest, sometimes we are afraid to look back. Even in my life, where I'm at 26, there's some things that when I was 20, I wish I wanted to accomplish when I reached the age of 26. And as I look back, I see that I have not accomplished some of those things that I wanted to accomplish. And at times that can be depressing, not so, church? When you look back and you see, okay, I really didn't picture being here at this stage of my life. But what took place is that we noticed that where we are now is really a matter of the choices we made. Nothing less, nothing more. Regardless of the trials, situations, opportunities, it is based on the choices that we make. Now, the thing with choices, what I've learned to discover, that the choices we make either lead us away from pain or we go towards pleasure. Every choice we either make a choice to obtain pleasure or we do not want to experience a particular pain. So we make choices based upon these things. For instance, why some people come to church? Some people come to church, one, they want to go to heaven. They want to experience the pleasure of heaven. Others come to church because they do not want to experience the pain of hell. So the decision that we make is really because of either pleasure or pain. What this pleasure or this pain, what it forms in us is a desire. We desire certain things. Each and every one in our lives, there's a desire. Let's say while we are in school, there are those who made choices to study their books because they desired, they wanted to become something in life. Others studied their book because they did not want the shame or the pain of experiencing failure. So we all do certain things for different reasons, right? Each choice is either for pleasure or away from pain. But it forms, let's even stick with that school person. It have those, that another young man who would not study his book, but go after girls. Why? He want the pleasure of the girls. His pain is being lonely. That is his pain. So he goes after girls. He forget books because he ain't really taking on study so much. He hasn't considered that pain as yet. He hasn't grasped the concept of that pain. But the pain he is trying to escape now is that pain of being lonely. That's his pain. So what takes place is that these pain and the pleasure, it forms desires in us. So we go after certain things. We make choices so that we accomplish or attain certain things, so we will not have the lack thereof, or that we would experience the pleasure of having it. And that is why we make choices, ladies and gentlemen. The Bible said, the person who labors for himself. It is his hungry mouth that drives him on. All this thing we running after, everything, house, car, money, man, woman, education, God, everything is, we have to work towards it. And you can tell what is someone's hunger or what is someone's pleasure or pain by what they are working for. The Bible said, and I want to read it, for his hungry mouth drives him. So you can tell exactly what I'm hungry for depending upon what I work towards. Now, so right, church? So what is taking place is that we are busy working for stuff. We working for stuff. Let's say we working. Okay, let me use my example. Working towards getting my car. Working. I want to get my house. Working to get my wife. So I working. Right? I working. That is my hunger, which is my pain and pleasure. The pleasure of wife, the pain of being lonely, the pleasure of having a car, the pain of traveling, the pleasure of having money in the pocket, the pain of not having money. That is my hunger. That is what drives me. What takes place, ladies and gentlemen, is that some of the things that we work and we labor for, when we get it, we realize that the pleasure or the pain really isn't what we imagine it to be. Anyone could testify? For instance, we young people, we are fascinated with the opposite sex, so we run after the young lady. We young men run after the young lady. Young ladies run after young men, and that is just how it is. No other way, right? And sometimes you get the girl. Yes, you have some pleasure, but you're like, that is it. Not that she's not enjoyable, not that. And let's say you go further, you enter into the fornication. And when you enter into fornication, you did feel pleasure of sex. Sex does have pleasure in it. But after that, you feel that pain. Not so you feel that pain of guilt. So everything will have its pleasure as well as its pain. So what we have to be careful about is what we labor towards, or what is really driving us. Right? So hunger makes us work to satisfy it. Every desire, every pain, every pleasure has an equated level of work attached to it. Again, let me use myself for example. Because I want a particular type of car, there's a particular amount of work I have to put in. Because I want a particular type of wife. I just being real this morning, right? Because I am hungry. I said that. I am hungry for some stuff, right? Right? So there's a a certain amount of work that I would have to do, whether it be on myself, whether it be in establishing myself to get what I want. So every pain that we wish to have, or every pleasure we wish to have, and every pain we wish to not have in our life, there's a work we have to do. There's a work we have to do. I have this statement that Pastor made. He said, the price, someone help me, there's a statement that our pastor made. Everything that is precious is purchased with the price of sacrifice. Everything that is precious is purchased with the price of sacrifice. Thank God you are here, because I do not see that in my notes. Thank God you are here, church. So we notice, whatever we want, whether it's pain or pleasure, we have to sacrifice. We have to work. And most times, the only thing if you really think about it, the only thing we're giving up is time. Because time we create money. When we go and work, we give up the time. Whatever we want is really time, we effort, we energies, what we putting into, what we want out of life. So we work towards it. The Bible said in I want these scriptures to be repeated in Proverbs 16:26. The person who labors for himself, for his hungry man drives him. So everybody you see working, there's a hunger that is driving them. I do not see people who work for working's sake. There's something that drives that person. We may not know what drives them. We can only assume. But everybody who works, there's something that drives them. So we've developed that we all have a desire. What this desire can be termed as is a hunger. This pain, this pleasure, let's term it as a hunger. So what is hunger? Hunger is really a physical sensation or desire in food. It's a sensation associated with the emptiness of your stomach. So what takes place is that there's an emptiness that you feel inside. Is a desire. You want to fulfill something, or it's a desire for something not to happen. So it's like there's something in us, a hunger, right? And I'm almost every day when I pray to God, I say, God, I want to be hungry. That's my prayer. I want to be hungry. But there's symptoms of hunger. Have you ever seen a man who's addicted to drugs? His hunger is the pleasure of being high. That's his hunger, right? When a man is on drugs, you have that your son would sell his mother because of how great that hunger is. Have you ever been addicted to anything? I know we are Christians, but during a stage of my life, I was addicted to some stuff. I remember, in fact, let me use somebody as an example. One of my cousins, I remember this guy had a girlfriend inside Queen Anne Road. And my cousin would walk that distance. I was like, even 9 o'clock in the night, this man walking, it have no street lights. But this man walking, I was like, you serious? Just for this girl, boy? Because that's his hunger, right? That's his pleasure. And it's like, because of that hunger, he don't mind. Ask him if you do that now, probably not. But at that time, that hunger was so great. He just wanted to satisfy it. You ever see those people, when someone is getting over addiction, sometimes they have to tie them down. Because the hunger is so great, they would destroy anyone in their path just to get what they want. Have you ever seen that on the movies? Well, someone is so hungry, if they have to kill their mother just to get a sniff of cocaine, sometimes they do it. It's because that's one of the symptoms of hunger. It makes us uneasy. There are times, many times, when we would get up 12 o'clock in the night and you're hungry. Well, that's happened to me sometimes. I don't know about you all. You get up hungry. You go in the fridge. You didn't see nothing. You close. You go back on your bed. 10 minutes later, I find myself walking to the same fridge whereby I did not see anything 10 minutes ago. So really and truly, that is mad people action. Right? I find nothing again, which probably I hoping magically that something cook inside it. I go back on the bed. I say, you know what? Let me try to sleep it off. I tried to sleep. You know what? It's a hunger, it's an emptiness. Is this what takes place with hunger? Is hunger gives us a sensation, is an uneasiness. You can tell when you're hungry, there's a desire. You want to go after certain things. It's like you just can't stay still because there's something that you need to get satisfied. Amen? So, again, you go back and you try to sleep and you get up again. You go in the same fridge that you went into 2 times before. There was nothing. And again, hoping that something would disappear, which is mad people action. Right? But yet still, am I the only one who ever did that? Am I the only one who ever did that? Right. So I'm not feeling mad by myself. Right? So what takes us with hunger? That's what hunger does to us. We have to fulfill it. We have to fulfill it. In fact, really and truly, when you do not fulfill your natural hunger, in food that is, you will actually die. So there's an instinct in our brain which equates hunger or the duration of hunger to death. So that's why we would rather kill someone else to get food. Have you seen 2 people stranded on a desert island and want water? They would rather kill their friend to get the water. Because what happens in our brain, hunger or the duration of hunger is equated to death. Because if we do not get food or if we do not get water, eventually we would die. So when there's hunger within us that sometimes we do not feed, it dies. Or we die. Or some area of us die. Probably that is why sometimes when we have goals and we haven't gone after our goals and we look back, sometimes those goals die within us. At one time, this is not for anybody, it just came to my head. At one time we wanted a wife. We reached 40, we didn't get a wife. So that desire cannot die. You understand? Because it wasn't fed. You know? Or let's say at one time, you dream of starting your own business and you're pumped up. And then after one failure, after years of not having that hunger filled, the dreams die, which is reality. When we do not feed certain things within us, it dies. Right? But what I noticed, there are also levels of hunger. There were times when I got up, I was hungry, and I just went back and sleep. I ain't that hungry. And sometimes that takes place in our lives. There are things we want, but we really don't need it. Right? We know about that, right? There are things that we want in life, but we can live without it. So that is something that we have to keep in our mind. Level of hunger, the symptoms of hunger. Oh my gosh, here's my statement. Everything that is precious is purchased with the price of sacrifice. It's there. So this morning I want to equate life to dining at a fine restaurant. Right? Can you bring down the table? I want everyone to see. Elder God, can you give me a hand? Let's carry the pulpit out a bit, so. So, the thing about life is that, leave it. Bring it down. I want everyone to see. So, is anyone hungry? Anyone hungry? Elder Fred, I heard your voice. So come, Elder Fred, let's dine at this restaurant called Life. Oh no, just one, thanks. I have some stuff, I have to confess, I have some stuff on the menu that I promised Frey he would get. But Frey, we'll have food after, right? So this is Life. Life is like dining at a fine restaurant. Here's your menu, Elder Fred. You can look at your menu. Right? Now, the thing with life is that almost anything that we want, we could have it. Anything we want, we could have it. That's the thing about life. Life is really, it depends little on where you were brought up. Life depends little where you were born, who are your parents, if you are orphans, if you have both parents, if you have your entire family. Life Okay, everyone can see. So can we, sorry about that, everyone cannot see. So let's relocate this restaurant, right? Right. We expanded. We expanded. This is good, real good. So what we have now, if success only happens to a certain sect of people, then we can say life is biased. If success only happens to people who have a particular pigmentation of skin, then we can say life is biased. If success only happens to people who born in a certain geographical area, then we can say life is biased. But we have seen that it doesn't matter. Black, white, rich, poor, orphan, have both parents. It doesn't matter. Opportunities, circumstances, it doesn't matter. It really do not matter. All that matters is that life is there for you. And it's up to us. And it's really up to our hunger level. So, let's have the bread. Let's have the bread. Right? Now, I have been at some restaurants, and what takes place is that they bring out bread for you, right? Bread is, sometimes you reach hungry and it have bread, and bread is really as a form of appetizer, just to occupy your stomach. So Elder Freddie, you can partake of some of the bread, right? While Elder Freddie is partaking of the bread, what I've noticed with life, sometimes the things that is really meant to just be an appetizer or to just keep us until the real dish come, we fill up on it. So you go ahead, Elder Fred. So when the real thing come, we full. So now this morning, the underlying factor I want to point is to spiritual hunger, right? But it also pertains to other parts, right? In that there's certain things that God really designed to is really not to fill us. It's just to keep us occupied, keep us going, that we would live. Elder Freddie, you eat. No. You have to confess the bread is a bit dry, right? The bread is a bit dry. So, what Elder Freddie decided to do, he decided from his menu, he has decided he want the chocolate bourbon. The chocolate bourbon. Right? This is an exotic chocolate bourbon. Right? And I'm just showing you life, ladies and gentlemen. This is life. Now, Elder Freddie has decided to... So, Elder Freddie, we could take your... yes, this is... You can open your bourbon. Please partake with your knife and fork. Now, what takes place on the menu, the cost of the bourbon is really not that high. The cost of the bourbon is approximately $1 US. And what takes place with Elder Freddie is that he is getting exactly what he paid for. He's getting exactly what he paid for. He paid $1 US. Elder Freddie, you eat, you're hungry. Elder Freddie, you eat. I want somebody who's hungry. Elder Freddie, are you hungry? Well, eat now, man. Eat now, man. Right? Elder Freddie is getting exactly what he paid for. He paid for something cheap. He paid for something that isn't substantial. Right? But that is what he wanted. That is what he went after for. That's what he paid the price for. And what is taking place is that regardless of how much Elder Freddie eat on this thing, this dry bourbon, this dry exotic bourbon, right? Within Brother Freddie's body, if he continued to consume this bourbon, he would die. His hunger will be filled. His hunger will be filled. Bourbon has helped a lot of us in times of need. Right? Our hunger were filled. But what is taking place is that the things that his body needs, the real hunger of his body. Now, Elder Freddie has a hunger, let's say a mental hunger, but his body also have a hunger. His body hungry for certain things, certain nutrition. And if he ignores the nutritional need of his body and only focus on what he wants, he will die. He will die with a full belly. And we have seen people like this. They die, in their coffin, they're well dressed. They have their Mercedes-Benz that is parked outside waiting to be buried with them. Their wife, beautiful, who is willing to go into the coffin with her husband. So this person died filled with stuff. He's filled, right? But what he's filled with killed him. Because he really didn't consider the real hunger. The real hunger. Now, let's be honest, right? We have to be honest. This is just, let's be honest. Some of the things that are really good for us, we really don't like it. It's hard to go down. I'm trying to increase on my vegetables, but the thing hard. It tastes like grass. But it's good for me. Now, my hunger, let's say my mental hunger says, that don't eat that. That's not tasting good. Right? My mental hunger, my appetite. Let me use that word. My appetite is for the steak and the chicken and give me beef, give me pork, give me meat, just give me meat. Give me pie, give me cheese, extra cheese. And all these things is what I physically am hungry for, but my body saying, no, I need other greens. I need some fiber so I can get rid of that. My body needs certain things. And in life, if we do not pay attention to what is the true hunger, not the superficial hunger, but the true hunger, we would die. Elder Fred, you're not, I wanted somebody who's hungry. So, Elder Fred, okay, nice. Elder Fred decided, you know what? You're going to pay a little price higher. So let's bring out the next course. The fine waiter. Let's bring out the next course. Right? So, now this one, unlike the bourbon is something that we that does just keep us a little while. It really don't have much taste, right? But this one is something what we really like. As I say, give me meat. This one is slightly more expensive. The price on this sometimes is our soul. This hunger, this thing that we crave for, sometimes the price for it is our soul. Now with the bourbon, right, bear in mind that it's the lack of the other nutritions that kills us. With this menu, this itself kills us. So what we actually paying, we are paying to kill ourselves. No, I'm not against KFC. I eat KFC. I'm just using an illustration, right? So when you see me to my KFC, leave me alone, right? But the illustration is this. The thing that he's paying the price for, the thing that he's hungry for, is actually killing him. His hunger is killing him. The thing he's going after, now, what takes us with KFC? KFC is more expensive than the bourbon. And I believe probably if he have a steady diet of bourbon, he might live a little longer than a steady diet of KFC. A steady diet of bourbon, he would remain slim. A steady diet of KFC, he would get heavy. Life will be a burden. You know? But what he's going after is actually killing him. The hunger he's feeding is killing him. Now, let me let you know something, right? In order to be hungry, you have to deprive yourself of some stuff. Let me be honest with you. Like, recently, like for the year, I find, not for the year, for the past 5 years, I want to accomplish certain things. Spiritually. Let's say more spiritually. It has certain things, you know, it have certain issues in your life that you want to get over. Anyone have issues in your life that you're fed up by yourself, you're always doing this thing, you have this habit, and you're like, oh gosh. Now, yes, we pray, and we pray for God to deliver us. But I want to bring it to you, there's certain things that God said you have to put off. You have to kill. You have to lay aside. There are times when he say, he shall set you free. Who the Son of Man set free is free indeed. All these scriptures, he's a deliverer. But there's certain scriptures that say, you know what, you have to put to death those stuff. So what is taking place is that I am filling my stomach with all the KFC and bourbon and wondering, how come I don't have a desire for God? Anybody ever wonder that? Your appetite is money, car, no, let me say money, pride, how we look in life, relation, status, all these things. And we wondering, we saying, Pastor, I really not feeling church. I'm not hungry for church. But how you be hungry for church if you're belly full? That makes sense, right? How, you know, it's be the worst is when you go somewhere to eat and you didn't know what was coming, so you grab at the first thing you had to eat. And when the real thing comes that you like, you want to eat it, but your belly full. So, now remember, I want to bring this as spiritual. If we going after, we feeding all these appetites, which some is not that they're bad. Some of the appetites not bad in itself. It's like the bread. Some of the appetites can keep us going. Like, yes, we need to have money. Yes, we need to build good relationships, and it's not too bad if you have a little status and influence in life. You know, all this thing not really bad in itself. But when we go after it so much, and our appetite is filled, it's really a wonder as to why we really not hungry for God. And these are things that I ask myself, is like, I want to pray, but why not pray? Because I'm not hungry for prayer. My appetite is filled with other stuff. My appetite is filled. I can't take the prayer. It's not that I don't want to pray. I can't take the prayer because I fall. My belly boss. So what has to take place is that we have to now stop eating certain things so that we will get hungry. Make sense? So what will take place is that also we have to consider with that. We have to have a balanced diet, right? So we have to consider what we're eating. So when we look out, any food chain, I've noticed that you need more of certain foods than other foods, right? Sorry, I didn't get a chance. I just think about a food chain. But when we look at what a proper meal or a diet consists of, there's certain things that we need more than other stuff. Some stuff we just need in small portions, right? So certain things that we going after could be just the one thing we need a little in small portions. But yet still we fill up with that. Give me a steak. Like, this is steak here. When I went to the States, it was only steak. I want steak. Give me a steak. Past 3 years, when I went to the States, my intentions was to gain weight. You all know me when I was weighing 120. I wanted to gain weight. You could ask my family. When I went to the States, in 2 weeks, I would gain 15 pounds. You know why? I don't want no rice or a breakfast steak. And you know, them paying, so I call in for what I want. Breakfast steak. Ask my sister, I'm in line. I don't want chicken. Chicken too light. I want beef. I want steak. I want things fatty. It have something called a baconator from Wendy's. 2,000 calories in one burger. I want that. Because my intention was I wanted to gain weight. And when I come back to Trinidad, give me 2 months, and how that weight gone. Because my dad changed. The same pounds that I put on in 2 weeks, I'll lose it over a period of time because I did not maintain our diet. What I'm bringing to us, church, I do not know about you. We each individually have our particular, it's open for you to interpret as you see fit. I do not know what you're hungry for. I know what I'm hungry for. I know what I'm praying to be hungry for. Because to be being honest, church, sometimes you do not feel hungry for the things of God. Now, let me repeat that. It's not that you do not feel hungry. It's just not our appetite. Now, remember, within this natural body, we have an appetite which is inherent, an appetite that we got. When we born, we have that appetite. That appetite is a sin appetite. Now, sometimes, that appetite is really a taste. This is what we like. This is what tastes good. So you find out, you're getting through? Nice. You find out the things that good for us don't necessarily taste good to us. But the things that are not good for us, it tastes, wow. Feels like heaven. Right? So what is taking place is that we now have to look at, okay, this is what I want for my life. I want family. I want God. God, family, two most important things. Now, in order to maintain that relationship with God, and especially family, I need some money, right? And I need other stuff. But what we have to do now is to structure our diet. And I'm using these words as an analogy. Structure our diet so that, one, we would have enough room for the things of God. Because, to be honest, we at the same time, you cannot have just one. You cannot be so much about God that you forsake your family. The word doesn't tell us that. But what you have to do, you have to put God first. That means in a diet, we eating the spiritual stuff. Before we eat the other stuff, we eat the spiritual stuff. So what if we get filled and we didn't get a chance to eat some of the materialistic stuff? So what? It won't kill me. It won't kill me. So what we have to do now, in a very practical sense, the Bible says we have to put this flesh to death. Very practical. For instance, what I've started to do, I decided to do, you know what? Regardless of how my day may seem, I'm going to read my Bible. Regardless. So I have, and it depends on how different people do it. I just share about me. So I read my Bible, and then with me, I do not read too much. Reason being is that I want to read just enough so I can meditate on it. This is me, right? You would be a bit different. When I don't read my Bible, I read some other stuff that would, some spiritual stuff or some stuff that will help me develop. Then I say, you know what? I have to pray. Sometimes I do not like to pray at certain times, but I say, you know what? You have to pray. Whether it be, it has some prayer that I do that is confessional, where you confess, is making confession, and then you have time when you have to spend time with God. But what I said, you know what? Regardless of how my day is, I need to include these things in my diet. Not so? Now, what is taking place is that I notice the more I include it in my diet, certain appetites that was strong, it's not as strong. Now, we think completely gone as yet. God didn't take me from it as yet. It's certain thing that I'm working on. What I've noticed that as I started to feed the more important hunger, certain things are dying because it's starving to death. Now, bear in mind, when certain things are starving to death, that will be the most threatening time. Because that's the time it act up the most. When you're hungry, you don't get like crazy, man. It's when you're hungry that when you want to, you're hungry, you do anything. But what you have to do is start to feed. And I'm not being very specific because I want each and every one in our life, we know what we're hungry for. We know what does give us pleasure. We know the pain we're trying to avoid. We know. Everyone have a hunger. And it's up to us to decide what you're really hungry for. One thing that really bothers me is that, and this point, which I'm repeating, is that it is impossible to be hungry for God when, well, not impossible, but it's hard to really get as much of God as you would want when your belly is full. And I want you to get that. When your belly is full, it's hard. It's real hard, ladies and gentlemen. Christians, we who love God, it's hard. Do you know that? When you fill up your appetite on all these stuff, work, and I had to do this, and I had to go there, and this had to happen, and if I not there, it wouldn't go on, and all these stuff that if we drop on dead would still go on. But we're going, we feed in the appetite. Because remember, everything that comes into our brain is like everything that we enter here and here is something that feeds us. It feeds our emotion, it feeds our soul, it feeds our intellect. So what is taking place is we now have to be careful of what is coming in. Eyes, ears. Because those are the things which is feeding us. So, for instance, I used to like to watch plenty TV. And I noticed at some points, certain shows never used to affect me. But like the more I'm watching certain things on TV, the more the thing affects me. You know why? I feed in on it. I feed on it. So what I say? I say, you know what? Let me be at the smart. Let me try and feed on certain things. So what I try to feed on these days is, this is me. I like to watch The Apprentice. That's a real good show. The Apprentice UK, Pastor Bobby. I like to watch shows that flipping houses and selling them back and making money and stuff like that. I've realized that, oh my gosh, I had to give up Big Bang Theory. Oh Lord, it's hard. I've been with the children, right, church? Big Bang Theory, Pastor, it's a nice comedy. It's one of the most, to me, I'm a science, I did science, so that's a comedy that I could relate to. But regardless of how nice the comedy is, how 90% of it might be good, it always have a 10%. It always have a 10%. It always have some sexual, something against what God say, something, might have a homosexual joke. It have a 10% that coming in. And 10% and 10% does add up. If I get $10 from everybody this morning, does add up. No, that's how I go. 10% does add up. So what I want us to be careful of is what are we feeding on. And to place emphasis. Now, I'm not going to tell you this is going to be a bed of roses, but as you start, push forward, feed yourself. Everything that is precious is paid with the price of sacrifice. You see a story of men like Bolt who win an Olympics, and yes, we see that 100-meter dash. But sometimes what you don't see is the 5 o'clock, this 4 o'clock, getting up and running. Is the 5 hours training. The body telling them, give up now. Give up now. But he running. It's hard. Just both body isn't so superhuman that he does always feel to go and train. But he know that if he pay this price, he gets some precious. So, however he decides to train, he trains. He trains hard. Sometimes he miss the mark with his races. Sometimes he don't come. He ever not came first. But sometimes he might do as good as he would have done. But he go back and he train. He paid the price. So we as Christians have to pay that price. Our training is different. Our training is reading the word, praying, fellowshipping, witnessing, reading the word, praying. And what takes place is that when we decide to do these things and our hunger and our stomachs are filled with these things and we start to see the result of these things, we won't mind paying that price again. Do you know, I am sure, I haven't reached there as yet, but I am sure, I'm heading there, that Pastor Bobby, I'm sure, those guys who making the billions, even though they went through hardship and they went through whatever, they paid the price, I sure the saying, you know what, I'll do this thing all over because of what I've accomplished. It have prayer warriors who have gotten so good at God that, like Abraham, when God will say, that's my friend, like even like Adam, come down in the day and dwell with him. And when you reach that level, you say, you know what? That 10 years I prayed and fasting, if I have to do it again, I'll do it again. You know why? Because when your hunger is filled, the Bible said, the man who labors still, for his hungry mouth dries him. And also, I want this particular verse to remember, blessed are those who hunger now. No, we church, we have to be hungry now. So God, I want to be hungry for you now. Because what is taking place, the Bible said, woe to you who are full. The Bible said, woe to you who fill up your appetite with all kind of things besides me. Woe to you. And you know what the Bible said? It said you shall be hungry. You don't want to be hungry now. But the Bible said you'd reach such in a predicament where you'd want God, you have to take God. And we have seen, Pastor Bob, we have seen that number of times. The do what they want to do, the gas stroke, the hungry, our God. Our God. They treat the wife the best they could. She wanted to leave. Our God. Our God now. Well, I've seen that. Right? But the Bible said, blessed when you're hungry now. I don't want to be in that predicament when he say, woe to you who are full. And understand that full meaning that you're so full you can't even take on God. It's not that you don't want God, you can't. Where you put him? For you shall be hungry. So don't wait until we have to. It's like the case with when someone gets a heart attack and they're forced to change the diet. We've seen that. We eat what we want, then we get a news, we have high blood pressure or high blood sugar. And what we have to do now, we have to watch what we eat. Because all the time we wasn't hungry, all the time we eating what we want, we full. And when it comes to a point where we have to be hungry. So, blessed are you, for I know you are hungry. I know you are hungry for God, and let's all hunger and chase after him. Amen. Let's call Pastor.